Fandom, how's it going? Today we're going to be looking at some of the best female-led comic books right now on the stands. These books are awesome, and the ladies that are in them are even more cool, so let's check them out. Here's a book for all you fans out there that are huge on Dungeons & Dragons right now, Rat Queens. And Rat Queens is fantastic. I absolutely adore this series. It's written by Curtis J. Weeb, and formerly the art was done by Rock Up Church. Recently, Rock Up Church got into a bit of squabble with the police, so he's not on the book anymore. Seriously, if you didn't know what happened, probably look it up. Not good. But the first arc of this is out in trade paperback. It's fantastic, it's fun, and if you are a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, this basically follows the premise of this group of young warriors and bounty hunters who they have to go out and do certain missions. Now in the first story arc, they are hunted by these assassins, and they have to find out why they are being hunted by these assassins and who put the hit out on them. The women in this series are independent, they're strong, they drink, they party, they're just a fun blast to be around, and you enjoy reading it the whole thing. I love Betty. Betty is one of my favorite characters right now in comics, and I was so happy that even after the little squabble that happened with Rock Up Church, Curtis J. Weeb was actually able to bounce back, find a new artist, and the series has continued on. Thank you so much, because I really do adore this series, and if you are a fan of strong, independent women, like I'm sure most of you are on my channel, definitely pick this up. You will have a blast with it. I guarantee it. The next one on my list is She-Hulk by Charles Soule. And She-Hulk by Charles Soule is a fun ride all the way through. It's a blast, I'm telling you right now. Art by Javier Pulido, who does a fantastic job throughout the entire series. There were about 2 or 3 issues in the middle that weren't by Pulido, and the art was really bad, but stick with it. It's a fun ride still. Basically, the general premise of what happens in here is that She-Hulk was just recently fired from her law practice. And because she was fired from it, she now has to reestablish herself from the ground up, and it shows her building her law firm, hiring her assistants, and things like that. It's a very slice of life story and how she interacts with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Charles Soule, fun fact about this actually, is a practicing lawyer on top of writing 5 or 6 books. Seriously, the guy probably never gets any sleep at all. But this is a great series. Pick it up if you are a fan of She-Hulk, or if you ever had a passing interest in the character. You don't need to know anything about the continuity. It's a blast all the way through. I think you will enjoy it. The next one on my list is Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel, written by G. Willow Wilson, is one of the best ongoing series right now. It was one of the best series from last year, and Miss Marvel is awesome. It stars Kamala Khan, and at the beginning of the story, Kamala Khan is basically hit with what is known as the Terrigen Bomb. Now, since she's hit with this, it turns her into an Inhuman, and now she has the ability to kind of make limbs grow bigger or smaller, things like that. On top of that, she is a Muslim, so she's dealing with having to fight with her parents, having to deal with her faith and things like that, on top of being a high schooler. It's a great all-ages story, and I'm calling it right now, Kamala Khan will be remembered as the Peter Parker of this generation. Hands down, one of the best ongoing series right now that I think very few people are reading is Revival by Tim Seeley and Mike Norton. Revival is awesome, and basically the general premise of this is that one day on this town, all the people that died, they are able to come back to life. It's just this one day, and they came back, and now people are just starting to go, well, what's going on here? Because my grandfather just died, and now he's back here, he's back at my house. Now you're probably thinking, oh, it's a zombie story. I've heard it all before, I've read it all before. Not necessarily, because all the people that have come back actually remember who they are. They're able to function in society as if they were never dead in the first place. Or maybe not necessarily the case. I'll let you read it and find out for yourself. But it follows around this cop named Dana Cypress. And Dana Cypress basically has to go around dealing with the new revivers, as they're called in this series, and investigating how did this happen, how are these people integrating back into society, and things like that. Meanwhile, the media has gotten wind of it, and they are trying to circle around this town and see what's going on. And what happens is the town is cut off from everybody else. It's quarantined by the government, and people have come in and tried to see what's going on here. How did this come back? What happened? How are people being revived? And all this other stuff. It's a fun series. It's a horror book. It gets under your skin, really creepy sometimes, and I'm telling you, it is one of the best ongoings right now that nobody is really reading. On top of everything I just said, it also follows around her sister, who her sister has a secret of her own that if it ever gets out, she could be in trouble too. So, fun series, really great premise. The next one on my list is Lazarus, and Lazarus is awesome all the way through. If you are a fan of post-apocalyptic settings or Game of Thrones or anything like that, this is a book for you. I think you will really enjoy this. And the general premise of Lazarus is that it stars the character Forever Carlyle. And Forever Carlyle is known as a Lazarus in this universe. And what Lazarus are is that they are beings that necessarily cannot be killed. They are genetically altered from birth to be able to regenerate themselves even when they are harmed to extreme events. Now, a Lazarus is essentially a bodyguard for these families. And the families, they have split up the entire world into 16 different chunks. Each one of the chunks is owned by a different family. What happened is that the Chinese economy ended up collapsing and the entire world was split up among these 16 families. Each one of the families has their own Lazarus, with the exception of 2 or 3 here and there, and they act as bodyguards. And at the start of this story, Forever Carlisle is starting to concern herself with, what is the meaning of what I'm doing here? Why am I here? Why is my family making me do these things? She's starting to question her very existence, and even if she is a Carlisle at all, because she is part of the Carlisle family. It's a fun series. It is great if you are a fan of post-apocalyptic settings. This is fantastic stuff. Greg Rucka writing on this, Michael Lark art. Greg Rucka kills it the entire way through. I'm telling you right now, one of the best ongoing series at Image right now. Pick this up. I really do not want to see this go away. With that said, those are my favorite female-led comic book series. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I do weekly reviews of trade paperbacks, hardcovers, and on Saturdays I do Twitch streaming. So check out those links down below in the description. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. You guys are awesome as always. And what is your favorite female-led comic book series? I'm really curious to find out. Bye.